Greensboro is a growing city up in the north that has grown a lot over the past 20 years. That's really starting to become more established as a place where families can move to and raise families. A big thing that's in Greensboro is what's called VR. It's one of the companies that kind of oversees a variety of different stores that you may shop at, like Levi's and Vans and North Face and different stores like that. So that's kind of like where their one of their headquarters is to be able to kind of facilitate those different businesses. In Greensboro with jobs, you also see a lot of lawyers that were in my ward in Greensboro, at least in the ward that I was serving in, as well as different dentists. With it being really close to Wake Forest. Wake Forest is a big like dental orthodontist school there, so a lot of them just kind of stay in that general area and take like a practice nearby in like Greensboro. But as like demographics there's a lot of refugees that live in Greensboro. I know that I talked with and had even people in my ward that were refugees from Liberia, Nigeria, Congo, as well as people from the Marshall Islands. And so it was neat to be able to have such a diverse ward. Typically there's like a lot of Caucasian people in the wards, but in the ward in Greensboro, it was really sweet, is that there was so much diversity and so many people from like I said, those different countries. And it was a really amazing mix of there. And like I said, up in Greensboro is where that historic like, Guilford courthouse happened. But it was an amazing city to be there. I lived there a long time when I was on my mission. Some of the geography in Greensboro, there's tons of trees. It's really green. It's really humid there, and it rains a lot. So there's just trees, and so it's really hard that you can't really kind of look out and see or have like mountains to kind of pinpoint where you are. I know I used mountains to kind of find where I am, but it's just all trees everywhere, very green. So that makes it really pretty and different. The weather, during the summertime, very humid. You would have like 100 degrees and like 100% humidity. So you're just really sweating, your clothes stick to you. But I mean, you do get used to it as you're out there. The falls and the springs are absolutely amazing and gorgeous with the blossoming trees and plants in the springtime. And then in the fall with all the trees changing colors at the same time, it's just absolutely gorgeous. The winters can get pretty nippy. It drops down to, I don't know, like around like under 10 degrees. And another scary thing is that because it's so humid that black ice is a really scary thing. So whenever there's kind of like an ice storm or it snows in North Carolina, that everywhere, and especially Charlotte, just shuts down. Like stores are closed, and no one's driving out on the streets because there's this layer of ice that anyone drives on, there's going to be an accident that happens. And there's not a lot of like ice trucks or to be able to, like snow plows, to be able to kind of break up that ice and to move the snow out of the way. So that's kind of like the difficulty that comes in the wintertime. In North Carolina and South Carolina, that kind of area has a lot of historical background, especially with the Civil War. So there's a lot of history that comes in North Carolina, like specifically in Greensboro. There's the historical Guilford courthouse shooting, and so those are some places that you can be able to visit to know the history of North Carolina. It's really rich. Another big one in North Carolina that's pretty cool is the NASCAR Hall of Fames in Charlotte. Very fun place to be able to tour and kind of learn about the history of NASCAR and where it came from, where it is now. There's rich heritage in there and some cool things that you can be able to see. There's even like, how do you say, like simulations of you being able to drive the NASCARs, and it's really similar to what it would be like driving on the track, on the speedways, which is pretty amazing. It was a cool experience to be able to ride around and do that. So those are some some interesting facts, like cheerwine was born in North Carolina. It originated, and that originated in Salisbury. And that's an amazing drink that I don't know if a lot of people have tried. It's a southern drink that people love there, which is pretty cool. Greensboro had a lot of, demographics-wise, it didn't have a lot of, I guess, super nice areas. You know, it had there was a lot of apartment complexes, and there's a big plot of like government housing, and so there's a lot of people where they were struggling financially with finding a job, but also like maintaining a job as well. That they had these families to provide for, but they were doing jobs like working at Panera Bread or McDonald's or like the local gas station to try and make ends meet day by day, and that was kind of pretty dominant in Greensboro, in that area, as it seemed like they did struggle financially there. And so that was a hardship for a lot of them that we sought to, for those that were motivated to really trying to find a job, to be able to help them through the employment specialist like in our ward. And but that's kind of how the demographics were in Greensboro a little bit.